Right. Hello, hello, hello. I think we are live. This is the Fast Track FBA YouTube live to support you guys with your Amazon businesses. First things first, let me just double check that I am actually live. And what I will do is I'll just check onto obviously my phone and have a quick look. But if you guys have got questions, please drop them down below. If you want to know right now, unfortunately, I am in a place called Sayulita, which is kind of like a little bit outside of Mexico City, and I'm just like, what am I doing? I'm just here, and I fly back tomorrow. So if there's any kind of noise in the background, please excuse me. It's building work going on. It's maybe not as tranquil or as relaxing as expected. So yeah, I'm live on here. That's cool. If you guys have got questions, drop them down below. Honestly, I'm here to help you in your businesses and really support you. So let's also just check on YouTube, make sure I'm live there as well. I'll kind of give you an update on my business where we're at. I've had an update meeting this morning with what's going on. I'm going to talk you through. So let me just check the channel. fasttrackfba.com. Helps to get my channel right. That's cool. And then are we live? Yeah, we're live. So there we are. Good. Cool. Fantastic. Right. If you guys have got any questions at all, do drop them down below. Or if you're just joining, let me know where you're calling from and what's going on. Please excuse the background. It's like the kitchen, the fridge. And really just trying to get a good space. So but a couple of people already dropped in already. Hey man, hello, good to see you. If you've got questions, let me know in the comments down below. Harminder's dropped in. Hey Tom, fantastic. If you want to know, I had an update meeting with my manager today through Amazon, and what's happened. USA is doing really well. If you want to know, I'll share a graph with you. Actually, I'll show you the USA. Everyone loves seeing the graph. So that's the important thing. So if I load up my Amazon USA graph, and I don't know if I've got an update one from this morning, but the one from last week, which I will kind of share, and kind of see it there. That is we've just done 6 figures on Amazon USA. There you go. Nice little update there. 6 figures on Amazon USA. Super happy. And that is November. That line there is November. And that was last week. So that's a week. So about halfway through November, we're on 40K. Dare I say it, maybe 100K by the end of the month from now. We'll probably do about 70. That's what we're forecasting to be. So obviously super interesting. If you guys have got questions, drop it down in the comments below. Obviously, I'm here to help. How is Q3? If you want to know, my UK revenue has gone. So the last 2 weeks have been like okay, not particularly brilliant, but 3 weeks ago was really good. But the last 2 weeks have just been steady. So I'm really hoping that this Friday, Black Friday coming up, is going to be a bit of a stormer. We're going to make some good sales. I'm really hoping that pick up. I know, a lot of it talks about this, about the 15th of November onwards for Q4 is going to be a really kind of important time for us in our Amazon businesses, and driving that forward is going to make a big difference. But I think, it's such a it's a bit weird this year. I think every year is really weird. But there's a lot to kind of think about. So for us, I'm hoping really to see the revenue drive this December, really push up this week. So got a couple of questions coming in now, guys. If you've got any questions, do drop them down below, and obviously I will jump on them. So UB, thank you very much for joining us. Think about what could go right. I like that positive mental attitude. Well done, UB. Nice picture. So question here is I guess you're saying what's sale for Christmas? My God, you can sell so much. There's so much to sell. If I kind of give you a run through, I bought advent calendars from Amazon 2 years ago for like $200 at a time, and not $200, like £40 at a time, and resold them for 120. So I was really happy about that. So I think we netted out something like we bought them for $40 and we made like $48 net profit after all fees and everything else. So really interesting. So advent calendar is a good one. Anything gifts, if you think about Christmas gift, if it's a giftable item, you want to be buying it, selling it. Top tip for you, obviously smaller the better. People buy, like, what do you call it? People buy like lots of different things. So gifts you're looking for if it's edible, like foods, they can do anything that people can gift, like toys and games, health and beauty. They're really the big ones. Electricals obviously work well as well. The other one which I'd really kind of think about as well is just think about your timelines. Advent calendars do still sell in November, or they'll still sell in January, and they still sell in February, not as much, but do check Keeper, and you want to look at Keeper last year. So look at January, what you're buying. So obviously you're going to be buying for Christmas, but you just need to be aware of, do I need to clear this out before Christmas, or will it still sell after Christmas? So Keeper last year is going to help you to figure out what happens in January this year. And then the final one is, generally speaking, you probably want to get everything packed, shipped, and on its way to Amazon by about the 15th at the absolute latest. If I just check my calendar, the 15th is going to be, yeah, so like this year, you're probably going to be looking around about the 15th, I think it is. That will give you, and I say that, ideally, I'd probably want to get everything done by about the 10th. So 15th is the absolute latest, 10th ideally. Ship it, box everything up, ship it into Amazon, and then obviously what you're going to do is get that on sale. So UB, top thing, anything gifts, advent calendars, electricals, toys and games, health and beauty, that's really going to help you out. And that's something to think about for Christmas. Let me know in the comments down below if that is helpful for you. So guys, if you do have questions, drop it in the comments down below and also I will answer them. So how to start selling for non-resident in the USA. So good question. Interesting if you want to know. So top tip for you is you don't need to be a resident of the USA to sell on Amazon USA. You do need to make sure that you're part of one of the eligible companies or eligible eligible countries which can sell. Like I think it's something like North Korea, Afghanistan, you can't sell, but you know there are some countries that don't have it. So just be aware. So number one, check that. Number two, the way, and that's about nationality. You can't do it if you're in these restricted lists. So most countries can, that's not a problem. And the next one I'd really think about is a lot of people talk about like creating an LLC. You don't technically have to do that. You can just create, or you can create an LLC, which then goes to you as a person, or you can do it as a corporation. That's the normal way if you're a non-US resident, so doing it through an LLC. And for that, you'd need to just create an LLC, use a formation agent, and then do like an EIN number. Again, I'm not an expert. I really don't know the ins and outs of like tax laws and the way it works for non-residents of the USA. If you want to know for myself, I'm a non-resident, probably like yourself, and the fact that I have a LLC, we formed as a C Corp, but again, you've got to speak to your accountant. I'm not saying that's what you should be doing. A lot of people will probably do this pass through, so it goes to them directly and be taxed in their local country. And then in addition to that, you need like a US bank account, an EIN number, and an ITIN. That would help you out, obviously getting credit cards. But I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below if that's answered your question, or if there's anything specifically that you're struggling with. That would be super helpful. So Harminder says, how many VAs do you have in the USA business right now? I have five, all full-time. Purchasing manager, admin VA, 3 sources. Just going to think about forecasting, like they all do full time. If you want to know, I'll give you some stats, which is going to help you kind of just understand. Let me just load it up on my computer. So like last week, I'm just going to try and go to Amazon USA. That's cool. So kind of like revenue wise, we did 15 grand last week. And then purchase wise, they're doing really well. We spent $15,000 on stock. So 3 sources, 1 purchasing manager, 1 admin VA, spent 15,000 on stock. I think the ROI, I don't have it on this report. Don't quote me. I think the ROI is probably around about 40%. So it's the US. We are finding a higher ROI than we get in the UK, like massively, and also because we can be a lot more selective. We're not buying as many deals as we need to in the UK. So we are literally buying. So we did 15 grand last week in sales in the USA. We've done 40 plus 15, 55,000 in sales in the USA so far. And last week we spent $15,000 on stock. So that kind of gives you an idea, and that's 3 VAs. So if you do the math, so $5,000 per VA is effectively what we're spending. If you're doing a 40% ROI, so $5,000 times 0.04, it should be netting about $2,000 per VA per week. What we did last week. So maybe you lose, so you got some extra costs in there fixed as well. Lose maybe like $500. So each VA will generate a net 1,500. Pretty good. So I hope that makes sense. Harminder, let me know in the comments down below if that helps you out and that is useful. So UB has come back. How about, I'm guessing you say Lego and Play-Doh. Yeah, definitely. They're toys and games, health and beauty, electrical items. They're really going to help you out, and they're going to be something which is, it's going to be useful to you. So Lego goes through the roof, Play-Doh goes through the roof. they sell like phenomenally well. And they're going to be really helpful for you in your business. So if you are looking at them over the Q4 period, like definitely I would be getting involved. And if you want to know, that's how I started selling on Amazon. We used to buy from Tesco in the UK. They don't really sell how we want to buy anymore. Tesco Direct, they don't sell anymore. But we used to buy Lego and Play-Doh and ship them from Amazon into, or from Tesco into our warehouse and Amazon. Really, really simple. But yeah, that is what we did. So definitely Lego and Play-Doh. Let me know in the comments down below if that helped you out, UB. That'd be useful. So that's pretty much the comments so far. So guys, if you've got any more questions, comments, anything you're asking, do let me know. So SEO Daddy's just dropped in here. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna drink some water. Oh, just lost the lid. So I'm thinking of expanding into the US. Are you buying wholesale over there or RA? I'm assuming wholesale. Did you find a trusted third party guys through the Amazon Lit guys? So long story short, we do OA, not so retail arbitrage, but online. So I've got a team in the US who do that now. So definitely we do in the UK. We do we're like 1.8 million for the year, I think, in pounds. So like 2.4, don't quote me, US dollars. So are you buying wholesale over there or RA? So quite simply, we're doing online arbitrage, so a variation of retail arbitrage for online, and no wholesale, zero wholesale. We will do wholesale into the UK soon, but we are just doing OA at the moment. Now, did you find a trusted third-party fulfillment center? Yes, we use someone called, they are in New Hampshire, and they are called American Warehouse. American Warehouse in New Hampshire. The reason is it's a tax-free state, because obviously when you're buying from retail, you want the tax-free because it's going to save you. For wholesale, it doesn't really matter because you're doing B2B, so you're not going to pay sales tax. So we do that, and they're good. Like they're a proper warehouse, not like some guy's house. Really like that. And interesting if you found them on our own, not through Amazon Lit, but I do, so I know the Amazon Lit guys and speak to them a lot. But I did ask, and I think they had obviously they have their own warehouse, so there's lots of prep centers, but wholesale is a bit different because you're not paying sales tax, whereas on OA you do, it's a factor. So we had to be a bit more selective in who we chose. But I hope that makes sense, SEO Daddy. And we do it in LLC if you want to know. LLC as a C Corp, I don't tax it, pass it through to myself. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below if that's been helpful. So Saeed has said, hi Tom, would you please share a link of the wholesale arbitrage video, how it works if you made any such video earlier? Oh, I don't think I have. We don't really do wholesale arbitrage. I did do a really recent one. I'll try and let me see if I can find it. Have a look for one that I did really recently with a $4 million seller called Todd. I really like that one. I've also done one with Amazon Lit as well. That was a good one as well, talking about that. So if you're going to ask me, like, who would I really like? I'm not an expert at wholesale. I don't really do much wholesale, or I don't do any. I've done it in the past. I don't do any. We will transition back into it. But 3 people I probably follow: Amazon Lit, Watch Me Amazon, and I really like Todd. I've forgotten his last name, but he's like Entrepreneur Adventure. Todd Welch, I think his name is. Really, like, I went and met him in Florida. Really switched on, growing his business. Really genuine guy as well. Like, really liked it. So do follow them. But like the model is exactly the same as OA, online arbitrage. All you're doing is just buying from wholesale distributors rather than retailers. I hope that makes sense. So let me know in the comments if that's helpful. And guys, if you've got questions, let me know in the comments down below. SEO Daddy, hi, by the way, thanks for all the content. Always follow other UK sellers. I'm UK Amazon Wholesale. Fantastic. Hey, really, really well done. And hey, thanks for the feedback. Really good. If there's anything I can do, let me know. And let me know, obviously, how you're getting on. So, or if there's anything I can do, that's really good. And you mentioned here, thanks, makes perfect sense. My model is the same as the Amazon Lit guys, just a bit smaller. Just a bit smaller right now. In the future, it's going to be as big, if not bigger. So honestly, I look forward to that. And that's cool. I'm going to also I'll go back over to the US next year. I'm back in the UK in December for like a month. I'm doing a road trip, but I will be back in the US. So the one thing which I will say is if there's anything like about a model or doing business that you want me to, should we say, learn, see, talk, go interview, anyone you recommend, like, hey, I'd love to go learn about these guys, do an interview about this, so these guys ask me, I'll do it. Like, I'm really happy to go, like, jump on a plane and go somewhere. So it's really, really nice. So I'll do that. So yeah, just, well done. It sounds like your business is doing well. Guys, if you've got any questions, please drop it down below. If there's anything I need to do right now, I'm just kind of like out and I'm kind of like on holiday, just kind of in a place called Sayulita, which is on the Pacific coast near Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. and then I'll fly back to Mexico tomorrow, and then next week I'll fly back to London. So busy, busy, busy. But drop your questions down below. So Saeed has come back in. Can you please explain what is online arbitrage? Well, I'll do it really simply. At a very fundamental level, let's call it my bottle of water. I'm going to like a online website, let's call it like Walmart. I'm finding a bottle of water for like $1, should we say? And then I'm going to Amazon, I'm finding the same bottle of water, and I'm seeing how much that costs. And let's call, for example, it costs $5 now. What I'm doing is I'm checking with a calculator tool, can I buy this bottle of water for $1 today, ship it from the supplier, Walmart, to my house or warehouse, and then repackage it and ship it over to Amazon, and then sell it to the customer for the price it is today and make profit on it. Now, that profit, generally, we're looking kind of like in the UK, we do like £3 profit, 30% ROI, and we pretty much try and stick to the same thing in the US. And again, it's up to you. There's lots of variations on that, but it kind of helps you out. So the idea is we're just buying from retailers, shipping to our house, and then repackaging, shipping to Amazon, and then listing it on Amazon, and then reselling it to the customer. That is it. Super simple, super boring. Arbitrage in the fact that buy low, retail, resell high on Amazon. That's it. And online, because we only buy it online. If people talk about retail arbitrage, most of the time they'll probably be talking about like in store, but not necessarily. So like they'll go in store and physically buy the bottle of water. Now, if you're talking about wholesale, well, the difference between retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and wholesale, the end bit, selling on Amazon, is exactly the same, but the beginning bit, where you buy it from, i.e. going in store, retail arbitrage, going online to the retail store, online arbitrage, or wholesale, which is generally you're going to buy from wholesalers, distributors, or manufacturers, and that's just where you get supply from. That's the real difference. There's a lot more kind of variation, a lot more to it, but that's a very fundamental understanding. I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below. So we got here, sorry, I'm really bad with your name, so I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. But how can I ship products from the UK to EU avoiding customs fees? Well, interesting, I used to do the ENF service. That stopped with Brexit, but there is a beta service. There is a beta program right now in testing that I've seen people have joined up to in Amazon UK to do exactly what you're saying. So number one, have a look at like EFN, European Fulfillment Network, like version 2 or something. I don't know what it's exactly called, like EFN beta. And the idea is what you do is you store your products in Amazon's warehouses, and then when they'll list it on France, for example, when they sell in France, Amazon will ship it from the UK to the customer in France. They'll do it for you. So do have a look at that. They are doing it. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'm not on the beta program. It's not something I'm interested in right yet. I will do it obviously once it goes live, but right now I'm not. But you can do it. But hey, the UK market is big. You know, it's massive, absolutely massive. So don't feel like you can't do that. So definitely you can. So let's kind of, if there's anything else I can help you with that, do drop it down below. So Loving It, let's jump onto this. So Loving It has come in and said, hello, what training service do you provide for the VA? Will they know admin tasks as well? So if you want to know for admin VAs, and I have, or for VAs, I have 58 in my companies, 3 companies, generally like 20 across the Amazon businesses, 30 across Fast Track FBA. Now, for us, then the roles I have internally, purchasing manager, admin, sourcing, and the training we provide is only for sourcing, only sourcing. We don't do admin and purchasing right now. We will do in the future, but right now we're not. So if you want to know, that's just sourcing. So that is like manual sourcing, going to Walmart, finding a bottle of water and then finding the same products on Amazon to resell for a profit, and then working out the profitability, including shipping to your house and then onwards. And what they do is they'll give you the deals, i.e., hey, here's a deal, this product, buy this product, cheap here, resell here. They'll give you that every single day. That really helps you out. So that's just like the admin, or that's the sourcing service that we provide. So that kind of helps you out and just makes you gets the deals that you need to really grow a business. I think I probably have they're the core requirement. In the US, for example, we'll have five VAs, of which one's purchasing, one's admin, and then 3 are going to be sourcing. So sourcing is the important one. So that's the important part. So I hope that makes sense. And if you want to know, have a look at fasttrackfba.com/VA, fasttrackfba.com/VA. And what's going to happen is you can book in a free 30-minute call with my team, and obviously and find out if our VA is going to be right for you, and obviously answer anything. So that would be good. So let's have a quick look here. Said said, thanks, great, glad I can help you. Christine, sorry, has said, hey Tom, do you offer VA services for Amazon USA? Says, yes, we do. Yeah, we do. We've hired loads, and my God, also because I have a VA business myself. So the model is exactly the same. Online arbitrage, we do exactly the same VAs. The training is exactly the same. The only exception is we get them to source from US stores. We have a list of top 100 US stores for you, which are going to work. Also, we have the same for the UK. And statistically speaking, because we run a lead service, we know which stores statistically deliver the most number of deals. If I were to say that one store has delivered us 300 deals and the other store has delivered us 30, you'd probably guess if you just went to the 300 one, you're probably more likely to find deals. So we give your VA that list to try and make sure that they're spending their time in the right areas. And if you want to know right now, I don't know how many US we've done, but overall we've done 340 VAs for 170 clients. So I'd like to think it's been quite successful. A lot of people have come back, and obviously we've done Canada as well. So not just the US, we've done Canada as well. We don't have the list for Canada, but we can train them. We can train them for anywhere. It's the same model, but it's been really, really successful. And that's find, hire, train, and support you for 12 weeks with your VA, which is going to really help you out. So, and again, it's about getting results and managing the right people, and that's what we do. We talk about results. So let me know if you've got any questions down below. fasttrackfba.com/VA. And you can book in a free 30-minute consultation call with my team. Obviously, just see if it can ask any questions. So, sorry, how much does it cost to have a VA for wholesale VA from the Philippines? So we don't do wholesale, we don't do online arbitrage. It's not to say that they can't do it, but we need to be very clear that they're trained in arbitrage, not wholesale. So our cost is £597 or $847. That's the way it works. So again, fasttrackfba.com/VA. You can have a look. I probably don't want to go too much in about our VA service. People want to see what help we can offer. So yeah, and they're from the Philippines. But if you've got questions, let me know. SEO Daddy, would be good to get some other big UK sellers on your show or organize UK Amazon Seller Meetup. Yeah, I agree. I'd love to have obviously big other big sellers. My God, there's some sellers who I know who are very, very, very big. I can't tell you how big, but they don't want to be seen. So I hope you can understand at a certain scale, you don't want to know. So it's hard not only being successful in Amazon, but also willing to come on, even on YouTube on a pre-recorded one. So if there's anyone you know, or even yourself, obviously you're wholesale, I'd love to come have a chat. If you can do an interview one day, let me know. Just get in touch. Drop me, you can hit me up on Facebook in the group, for example. Obviously, just drop me a message. That'd be good. So SEO Daddy, obviously, I'm not too sure who you exactly are, but do let me know if there's anyone you recommend. Drop their name down below, and I'll try and get in contact. So next question is, what salary do you recommend you pay the VA? So for us, we recommend $2.50. Is that right? It's $3 an hour. I think it's $3 an hour. My God, I'm not very good. It's about $3 an hour, 40 hours a week. I'm doing the math in my head, and it's about $504 per month on a 40-hour contract. I think that's right. So yeah, it's $3 an hour we recommend. I think it is. So it's about 504 divided by 40 divided by 4. Yeah, about that right. $3 an hour is what we reckon. Sorry, $2.50. $3 an hour, and the reason is what I do say is we've tested it as in 340 VAs. We've tested it whereby if you go cheaper, you can get cheaper. I've never done that. My God, I found VAs who'd be like $1 an hour. But you just don't get the performance, and also you got to think they're in it for the long term. Pay them a good wage, they'll stay with you forever because they're earning enough money. You pay them too low, they'll probably go look elsewhere as well for another job, and you do not want your VAs to have a second job. That's just a problem because the deals they give you, they can give someone else. So number one, don't pay too low. You want to retain top talent for a long time. But then also number two, we've paid up to $5, $7, and we've just not seen the ROI. You'd expect double the amount of deals. They just don't do it. It doesn't happen. So $3 an hour is what we recommend. Always do full time. Do not do part time. If you want to know why, drop a comment down below and I'll answer that one as well. So Saida said, so online arbitrage is the same as FBM? No. Online arbitrage is basically online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, wholesale are ways to find or source, should we say, products. i.e. where you physically buy the products from. It's called supply chain. So we all sell on Amazon, but where we get our products to sell on Amazon and how we go about doing that, we define by retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, distribution, manufacturer. It's called the source of our products. Now, if we take Amazon and we buy products in retail, online, wholesale, we ship them to our warehouse and then we ship them to Amazon, great. FBM is called fulfillment by merchant, or FBA is where it's fulfilled by Amazon. That is how that product you've just brought gets from you to the customer. Now, if you're doing FBA, it will go from your warehouse, I'm trying to do the hands right, your warehouse to Amazon's warehouses and then shipped off to the customer. FBA, because fulfillment by Amazon themselves, is FBM. It'll go from your warehouse direct to the customer, fulfillment by merchant. So that's how you ship to the customer. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below, but FBM is fulfillment model, whereas FBA or FBM and FBA are fulfillment models, whereas RA, OA, and wholesale are how you source your products, i.e. supply chain. Christine says, thanks for answering my question. I'd love to be part of your company. Fantastic, no problem. Yeah, let me know. Obviously, if you're looking to apply, you can look at our jobs, go to our website, you can apply for jobs. So have a look at that. Thanks for all the help so far. No problem. Is there anything I can help you with? Let me know. So SEO Daddy says, cool, I will get in touch, mate. Andy, thank you, Andy. To add a few other questions, do you stick to any niches or literally source any deal if it's criteria? Is everything you do FBA? So we do anything which makes money and solely FBA. And the reason why we do solely FBA is we could do FBM. We'd have to do it through another prep center. We'd have to integrate into another prep center, which is a problem because we're scaling so quick. And then the other one is also as well, I'm not in the country, so we don't, I'm in Mexico right now. So the idea is that we're going to need to do, it's about logistics. So I'm just not really interested in like fight your battles. I think, I spoke to my ops manager and he talked about doing, I was like, what's your target for next year? Again, I'm not doing it. He came back at 4.5 million. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of cash just in the UK, by the way. And that's just an OA. And I was like, oh my God, it's going to be really hard. So we could look at doing a FBM, but we're still growing the OA side in the model. And I think once we start plateauing at one point, then we'll start looking at other distribution models. But again, pick your battles, do one thing at a time. That makes sense. Keep it simple. So I hope that makes sense. And hey, Andy, yeah, do hit me up, definitely. So Amazon, 1 second, water. So Amazon, when sending items into Amazon for them to label with FNSKU, we still need to get our suppliers to label the outer box with our shipping label, right? E.g., you can't order a product from Argos to Amazon. Yeah, you can't. That's a problem because you can't get that label on the box. Now you could obviously, Amazon could label for you, but you can't get them to stick that label on the box. And generally also as well, like it just starts causing problems. So I know what you mean. You can do it with wholesale. Like wholesalers are generally, they'll just stick the box on or stick the label on. And a lot of wholesale people do that. They'll buy wholesale and then ship direct to Amazon. But you've got to work with wholesalers that are willing to do that. But also as well, you've got to work with wholesalers who are willing not to compete against you. But the reason why you ship it to a third-party warehouse is the fact that you probably don't want them to know exactly what you're doing with it. Because if they know the end user, then they can cut you out as the middleman. So just be very mindful of that. But I hope that makes sense and great question. Harminda mentioned, how deep do you go on a product? A lot of people always advise shallow and wide. I understand what you're saying. I really do. Like, I really understand what you're saying. And I think when you're getting started out, shallow and wide is a very good choice. Long story short is if you buy too much, unless you've bought a stupid deal, you're probably going to shift it through. Like, it's going to sail. It's not going to be, it might not take a month. You might plan for a month, but, it might take 3 months, 4 months, and you might have to clear out and make a small loss on it, but you're not really going to lose money. So we don't really talk about and also, how do you define what shallow and wide is? Like, what is it? Define, what are the metrics? And the reason why I say it's a real challenge is because when you're running teams, you need to be very clear about what you want. And when people just talk about shallow and wide, it's like, what does that mean? Like, define it, like make it very crystal clear, make it so like, yes, that is shallow. No, that isn't shallow. How do you define that? So for us, we don't ever look at that. We talk about it. Might be like, hey guys, let's not go so deep on the items as a kind of saying, but we never really talk. We never really maybe once a year I might talk about that. And that's just a general kind of like feeling. But what do we go by? We go spend all the money. Like, my God, like spend the money. If I've got the money in the bank and it's in stock, and hey, if I bought a bit too much stock, i.e. too deep, it's not the end of the world, it's going to sell. But what I don't want to do is have too little stock in and lots of money in the bank. So my big thing we always look at is spend all the money, spend all the money, spend all the money. That's it. So that's one metric we look at all the time. So definitely not like shallow and wide. We do measure internally. If you want to know, kind of talking about shallow and wide, we do measure number of active SKUs and average units per SKU, if that makes sense. So it kind of gives you a measure of shallow and wide. And again, we're not really too worried about it from shallow and wide perspective. What we're trying to do is look at variances, changes in the numbers of active SKUs and changes in the number of items, stock per item. And the reason is two things. Number one is, do we think we've gone too shallow with our stock, i.e. average units per SKU? And then we haven't gone deep enough. We need to go deeper. The stock we bought, and then the other one is active SKUs. Generally, the more active SKUs you have, depending on buy box, I'll come back to in a second, the more sales you're making, obviously more revenue at a certain ROI makes profit. So we track that. We also track the buy box percentage wins. So we kind of get a feel for that as well. It's not perfect. We are learning, but I hope that makes sense. So good question, but we don't go deep and wide. We track it, but we don't do it purposely. So in the past, how long has it taken for items to be checked in at this time of year? What's really interesting is about 3 years ago, it was a real challenge. I mean, you were looking anything up to a couple of weeks. It was like, oh my God. And then I think it was like during COVID, Amazon just changed the game. They really upped it. So it wasn't really a problem. If you want to know, that was in the UK, by the way. So UK, I haven't seen too big a problem. In the USA, I have seen delays. Like we're much slower check-in time than the USA. So that does kind of help. So I think for you is just something to think about there. Like, to be honest, I'm not really too worried, but I do think like if you're going to try and get stuff sold by the 25th, 12th, 15th, you probably want to have it shipped out by. I hope that makes sense. That's December for Christmas. Loving it, it's come back. Who does the final decision on what items are purchased and how you handle the payment authorization? My purchasing managers, absolutely my purchasing managers. We spend on average probably between like 60 and 80,000 pound a week in the UK, and last week they spent 15,000 in US dollars in the US. There's no way I could authorize them. I'd be there all day just watching them. So long story short is we do a lot of training. And if I kind of talk you through the process, the process behind it is that when we did the training, it's kind of like a 3-step process. Number one is when we do deal analysis, I'm aiming for my purchasing managers to align with what's a good deal, the same as me. What is a good deal, and to get that right 90% of the time. So except they're going to get sometimes whereby they choose a deal that I wouldn't buy that they do, so only 90. Then once we align that, I'm then trying to align how many units of stock they would buy. And as long as it's roughly the same, I'm pretty much happy. Again, 90%, so like 90% we're going to be in agreement, plus or minus 1 or 2, or they know the calculation. So like maybe their tool said like slightly different number, but the calculation was right. That's fine. And again, I'm not looking for perfection. So once they've understood good deals, they've understood how many to purchase, and then then it's administration, just actually buying the products and doing the recording of it. So, and then what do we track as a business? Well, we track 2 things: spend initially, and then we actually measure the ROI and profit. And we're looking for losses in the business, losses in high performing items. And what we're doing is we want our purchasing manager to review those items, because they're going to go, oh, I bought that item 2 weeks ago, and oh look, it's made loss now. So I probably shouldn't have bought that. Now, what did I learn from it? That's what we're really looking for. So we have conversations around losses and high performing items just to see what they're learning. And the whole point is not about me knowing it, but what we've learned from it, so we can improve next time. So I don't do any of the authorization. My God, I couldn't do a single product we sell. Like I really couldn't. So I hope that makes sense. Loving it. Let me know in the comments down below. SEO Daddy is coming. Totally agree. I'm only doing FBM. Wow, my God, mental. If I haven't managed to get everything into Amazon, reference wholesale prep, IME is lower. Fish do that. And they're all selling into Amazon cheaper as well. I don't really know IME. So yeah, so you're doing FBM, fantastic. Oh, well done, like really, really well done. I haven't managed to get everything into Amazon. You're gonna get selling to Amazon cheaper as well. Oh, it's lower fish. I'm guessing you're talking about like wholesalers. Um, And okay, cool. Yeah. So you're saying here like wholesalers who sell into Amazon, also wholesalers who will ship direct to Amazon also sell in Amazon themselves. So generally it doesn't work. So yeah, I completely agree, and I see that as well. Which is why you probably want to ship to your own warehouse first. Hey, good. Honestly, well done. Well done for doing Fulfillment by Merchant in Q4. And it sounds like you're smashing it. So obviously doing some really big numbers as well. Fulfillment by Merchant. Wow, that's amazing. SEO Daddy said, how do you buy if there's quantity limits on items in your source, multiple accounts, look elsewhere? Both, literally both, multiple accounts, look elsewhere. If you want to know, we got banned from the Hut group, which is like a lot of people, a lot of brands. We just couldn't sell anymore. So that was a real challenge, but you just have to kind of figure it out, like go through multiple accounts, different things. It takes time. It really does. It really does. Guys, if you've got questions, drop it down below. I will help you out. Obviously, I'm here to kind of support you in your Amazon business, Q4, OA, arbitrage, VAs, anything, let me know. H. Amazon said, if I had the budget to spend and buy and resell this Black Friday, what do you think is a reasonable amount to spend on good products in December? 100% ROI on fast selling products. Good question. 100% ROI. I think you can certainly achieve 100% ROI, but would I go into it wanting to achieve 100% ROI? No, not at all. Not at all. And do you know why I wouldn't go into it I would go into it trying to do like 40% ROI. And I'll tell you this now, because if you're looking to achieve 100% ROI, you're going to find Black Friday products, it's cheap, and then you're going to look for the same products in Amazon. Now, I'll tell you this, you're probably going to find the 100% ROI items are the ones whereby they don't have as much sales velocity. Because they don't have much sales velocity, they're not selling as well. Now, what's going to happen is you found that deal and everyone else found that deal. Now, what's going to happen is lots of people are going to buy that product, ship it into Amazon onto the listing, which doesn't really sell very well. So, yeah, you're going to get 100% ROI at the market price on Black Friday. But because everyone's going to come in, crash the listing, you're still not selling brilliantly, but also as well, now you're not making half as much money. So I've seen it time and time again. I've even done it myself time and time again. I do think you can get 100% ROI, but I'd just be a bit more mindful. Like, and when I talk about ROI, I'm talking about including prep fees and everything. So you go into it 50%. I think that would be a good one. So you know, I generally believe for you, like, don't go with such high expectations, but if you find them, great. But just, you know, again, I'd probably say just be very mindful of looking at sales velocity of the products. If you can find something with 100% ROI and super fast selling, fantastic. You know, you've hit the golden nugget, but don't just be careful of slower selling 100% ROI items, because it's a really common one. We see it all the time because you're like, wow, Black Friday, buy. And to come back to your thing, what's a reasonable amount of spend? Oh my God, how much money have you got? How much are you willing to risk? Yeah, right now we've got like, you know, we got 6 figures in the bank that we can spend. So if there's good money available, let's get it involved. So that's going to be really important. So just think about that. But I don't know how much money have you got to spend. Cash in the bank in this game doesn't add value. It's just sitting there doing nothing, losing money. So it's quite hot here. Do you know of any reasonably priced pep centers in the UK that you recommend? Yes, have a look at a couple that you might want to think about. 3 I'll mention is Fast Pack FBA. Fast Pack with a P, not Fast Track, but Fast Pack FBA. Dan, I know the owner of that guy. There's lots of good reviews about him. We Prep FBA. They're based over in Suffolk. Lots of good reviews about them as well. And Midlands Fulfillment, they do good volumes. They are cheaper, I think. They, like, some people have had really good things, and some people have said maybe not so great. But like, have a speak to them. Like, they're probably my 3rd option. The other 2, I've not heard any negative things about them. Like, even like Slow Performance, they've always been on top. So do check them out. The other one I probably look at is Systemized Fulfillment. Actually, Kev Blackburn up in Scunthorpe, I'll go meet him. He has really good systems, but I think they're a bit more on the more pricier side because they have a lot of like value adds as well that maybe a bit more. So do consider that as well. let's kind of move on. We are charged for storage fees if our items have been in the warehouse for less than a month, usually 2 weeks. Yeah, agreed. Why are you storing items? Go look at the other ones. Go look at the other ones. See what you're doing. We get charged as well. I think. No, we don't. I think we should probably. I think in our USA one they charge us, but like, it's quite normal. You're not really here to store stock in the warehouse. You're stock to buy it, ship it to Amazon. That's it. It sticks in Amazon on sale. So if it's a small amount, fine. But yeah, I think go have a look at the other ones. The ones that I mentioned, they're really good. SEO Daddy has come back in. Sorry to clarify, I do 90% FBA. Yeah, well, okay, fine, well done. Sounds like you're doing really well. FBM 100%, that's crazy. 10% FBM, fantastic. Only FBM if I have to, as I don't have a big enough logistics operation to film so many orders. Oh, IME in my experience, sorry. Thank you very much. I'm still learning. What's your average net margin in OA? Okay, so you've got to be really, so you're talking about net margin. And you've got to be super careful because people throw around different numbers, and this is something about accounting that people don't really understand. I'm going to give you an example. I'll tell you some information, then I'll give you an example of something that you want to know, because the question isn't a good question to be asking, and I'll explain why in a minute. So let's say, for example, so when you talk about comparisons of net margins, you need to be super careful. Like, for me to compare my margin versus Amazon Lits over in the US isn't, like, as in, if you're just talking about margin on the products, so I'd call that gross margin, if that makes sense. It'd be a very foolish comparison because my prep center fees are bundled into my cost of the product, whereas in Amazon Lit, their prep center fees are fixed costs. So the margins are going to be different. Now, the other one to think about is when we talk about net margin, and I'd be very clear, I'd always be like, what's your net margin, like after everything? That's what we're looking at. We are below 10%, above 5, but below 10, that's where we sit. We do like 300K. So it's not huge, but the other thing which I'd say for you is what you got to ask the question is about here's a question I'm going to ask you. What if I'd said, okay, there's 2 products here. One's 10% margin and the other one's 20% margin. Which one would you go for? And you'd be like, well, 20%, obviously it's higher. But then actually, you know what? What if I told you the 20% was once a year and the 10% was once per month? Well, now you would go for the 10%. Why? What's changed? Well, I put a time clarification on it. So just comparing margins and asking that question, and I understand what people say, I don't ask the question because it doesn't really help you out. And even when you talk about like 20% margin over a year and 10% over a month, there's different models to this game. It's not all apples to apples, it's apples to oranges. Another question you might ask is like, what's the ROI on your investment? That's a better question, because if I invest 100,000 right now into your model or my model, what am I going to get back in 1 year's time? So, and you'd actually talk about what's the annualized ROI on that investment. Well, quite simply, if I put it this way, in my Amazon UK business, I have 0 money invested right now, like 0. We've taken all of my investment out, everything out to go launch USA. So we're doing £300,000 worth of sales per month on someone else's money. So while my margin might be lower than yours, for example, I don't have any investment in that money, in that business, and I'm doing it on an hour and a half a week. So again, my margin might be lower, but my ROI and my investment would be infinitely higher because there was no investment cost. So whenever people ask, it's a really good question, but I just always say be very, very careful, because it's a very misleading. The answer isn't clear, and you need to be very crystal clear about what is margin, if that makes sense, and why do you even care? Like, my God, if I told you I was getting like 30% margin, but it took me a year, but I didn't tell you the year, or like, let's say 50% margin. Like, wow, this guy's amazing, but I didn't tell you it took me a year to sell my products. You'd be like, well, actually, it's not. So just be careful. Be very careful. SEO Daddy, I hope that makes sense. Drop me down in the comments below if it does. We've got 15 minutes, guys. I will go through the questions. Do drop them down below. Tom Oakes, at what point would you consider scaling to USA markets from the UK to OA? Great question. Really love it. Top couple of tips. Number 1. What do I think? Okay, obviously understand the business model, but I assume that's the basic and we understand that. So number one, understand the business model really well to a high standard. You know, don't try and do 2 races at once if you can't complete the first one, or do the first one. Don't try to run 2 businesses if you're struggling to run the first one. So number 2 is you've built a team to run the UK for you, and the team isn't just running it for you. I mean, like, you've got like so much free time, you're bored, like go and take a holiday. And the team runs without you. Why? Because I promise you, you're going to get problems in the USA. It's going to take a lot of your time. And it's interesting, it's your time and energy, which is the most important factor. So if you can run your, you know, right now I can run my UK business, 2 million this year we'll probably do. That takes an hour and a half a week just to operationally manage. Very, very simple. I'm really happy with it. It's great. And I've got the people in place. They're trained. We have the systems. We have the processes. It works really, really well. And I think for you, the question is, if you can get to that level, i.e. you've got time, then cool, start another business. But don't bother trying to build another business while you've still got a problem in this business, because all you're going to do is scale a problem. So you've got to be like, oh man, I'm so bored. Like, I've got nothing to do. Okay, now I'm going to go start USA. Like, I've got nothing to do. And the other one, I'm making 5 figures a month from my UK business. Cool. That's what I'd say. I'd probably say you want to be at least 6 figures in the UK per month. If you can do that, then you're in a good position. The reason is when you look at any like P&L, you have what's known as your revenue, you have your what's known as variable costs, which are associated towards growing the revenue, i.e. like buying stock, shipping it to the prep center fees, etc. Then you have your fixed costs. The higher your revenue is, the lower your fixed costs are as a percentage of your profits, or you know how much they eat. But the lower your revenue is, the higher those fixed costs start adding in. So if your fixed costs are quite, if you can grow your revenue quicker or higher, what does that mean? It means your costs are a lot less, your system's running, you've got scale available. And then you know what the other one is? It's the fact that you've got a cash generating machine in one company, US, UK, for example. You can then take that £10,000 a month. My God, like we talk about, is £2,000 a month enough to start in the US? Like, yeah, you can, but it's going to be tough. I promise you that. But like, you'd be much better dumping it into the UK, churning it again quickly in your system and doing it. So build your UK business to like 10,000 net profit, because my God, you're then going to have a much better quality of life. Throw that in the US, and that's just going to go super fast. Like, you know, we're probably dumping in, I think, into the US business maybe like 10,000 a month sometimes when we have some like good months, and I'm like, cool, you know, like the stuff we're doing with it, and we don't need it. I'm like, go put it in the US, and that's just going to spin that US up massively. You know, can we hit 1 million next year? That's the goal. Year 2, 1 million. I'll be well happy. So I hope that makes sense, Tom. And I know it's some really big, scary numbers, but what I'm trying to say is, and I see it time and time again, people just do lots of different things. They're like eBay, Amazon, all the different things, and you're like, stop being a master of all, and stop being a jack of all trades and be a master of one. No one gets paid for being a generalist. You get paid good money for being an expert in one area. Be an expert in one marketplace, and once you've done that, scale over to the USA. And it's copy and paste that model. And as a result, we've done it in the US. We're doing it really well now. Next year, we're opening up Germany. Why? Because right now, like, my God, the profit figures of the US, I think right now we're making about 10K a month in the US right now, which is like crazy. So, and that's profits, net profits. And we're only like 7 months in. So I'm really, really happy with that. But why? Because we built up the wheel here, and then we're throwing that money from here over to here. So very, very interesting. Hope that makes sense. Loving it. Do you have a strategy for setting prices in Q4? Do you lower your prices close to Christmas? Look at the Keeper chart. I'll do it really quick because of time. Look at the Keeper chart. Do just grow. Number one, if you see an increase in sales, i.e. the sales rank is dropping even slightly or even pretty much sustain, hold fire. Hold fire, watch the people stock, because you'll probably see your prices actually go up, and there'll be demand there, supply and demand. You'll be fine. The only thing which I might do is have a look at my range of products to see what doesn't sell in January. I'm just going to make a list of all the ASINs, and probably around like the 20th of December, I'm going to go into those products and maybe clear the prices down and get them sold. But anything else that sells in January, my God, keep going. Like, you're trying to maximize the profit, not here like increase the sales. Just be careful. We're here to make money in this business, not make revenue. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. If that makes sense. Veronica, come in. Hello, Tom. I'd like to know, what can you suggest for me to start selling on Amazon, since all the products I have tried to list for my niche are gated? How do you start to gate products? Great question. Did it in the USA. Have a look at and type in, scroll down my channel, sort it by videos, upload. It'll be like top gated, ungated products for USA. You might be UK, but I think they'll be pretty much the same. So have a look, the same categories. Top tip for you, if you're going to ask me, is do the reverse source method and storefront stalking. I know people are going to hate me for saying that. So long story short, don't go to Argos or Walmart or whatever, find a product and then go to Amazon. Oh, I'm gated, damn, don't do that. Go to Amazon first, find the right products that you want, and then reverse source, to find the supply. That's it. You're looking for products that are ungated and already don't have Amazon on the listing. They do have FBA sellers, maybe not too many. Great, go find the supply. If you found one or two, maybe have a look at those FBA sellers that are selling, and you can see what products they're selling, and maybe find other ASINs that you should be able to sell, because they'll probably be ungated as well as new sellers. So that's my kind of top tip. Hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below. So, hi, thanks for chatting to us. How many months' expenses would you say is comfortable for make the leap to full-time FBA before you have products live, after you're selling for a year? It's only up to you. If you want to know, personally, I have 3 months worth of expenses in cash in the bank. And my expenses are pretty low. I live in a reasonably cheap country. Mexico is not particularly cheap, and that's it. And I think the real question for you is this: I learned this playing like Rich Dad Poor Dad. Is about that. It's maybe it's maybe not about like expenses, but like how long could you survive if the worst were to happen? Like if all were to go wrong, I have 3 months worth of expenses, which isn't much cash. But on the other hand, is say I have a lot of credit cards available, so with a lot of high limits. And what I can do is I can use them if I needed to keep me going while I get a job. I'm not saying I should get a job, but like if I needed to fall back, I can. But I think only for you, you really know that, and I think you need to just plan it out. Plan out how much. I talk about 3 months. What's his name? Money saving expert Martin Lewis talks about 6 months. If you can, that's really good. Again, business is a risk, and I hate to say it, 90% of all businesses will fail after like 2 years. I think that's a statistic. It could be 80%. Just be mindful that you've got to go into it going, we could fail, and if we did, what's the plan? But let's go into it and say we're prepared if we are, and I'm mentally ready for that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that I don't, and I'm going to work every single hour of every day to make this work. And I promise you, the first 2 years is the hardest. I really promise you that. So I hope that makes sense. Do you only source from retailers that allow you to purchase in high numbers? If yes, the minimum order from the Boots, don't source them, pointless, absolutely pointless. Long story short, we measure spend. So with Boots, you can't spend enough money, don't bother. It's spend per hour worked. So, oh my God, I can do you some quicks. So my sourcing VA, my purchasing VA, so if you're just purchasing, this number you might like, they can spend £40,000 a week. £40,000 a week. So if the deal, so that is, they can do £40,000 a week at max. We think their limit is about 40,000 with the efficiency that we've got. Now, if they're spending 40,000 a week and they're doing a 40-hour week, that means they can spend £1,000 per hour. So the question you've got to ask yourself is the deal I'm about to buy now from this retailer or source from this retailer going to enable me to spend like that £1,000 an hour? Now, I'm really high, like we spend really high, but I think for you is just work out your average spend per hour and then start looking at all the retailers who you have to buy like lots of little ones. Maybe they cancel and they do it and be like, you know what, you're not worth it. Get rid of the small ones, get rid of them. Hey, big ones, we're going to do more of you. Because what you're trying to do is up that spend per week, and that's what we do. So 1,000 a week, we don't even bother with these things. We might buy it if it's low numbers, if you've got to do multiple orders and they're okay with it. But it's like, if the retailer doesn't play ball, we just move on. We don't have time. Hope that makes sense. My God, I've got to be quick here. Harminder says, as they keep cancelling orders, I'm going to try to buy large quantities. Boots, don't bother. Promise you, don't bother. It's not worth your time. You've got better things to do with your life. Amazon, what other cashback sites do you reckon besides Top Cashback? Okay, so if you're in the UK, Top Cashback and Quidco we use. We've also used Complete Savings and Delivery Deals. You just got to be careful. Complete Savings is a maximum £250 cashback per month. I use is 10%. Spend 2,500, get 10% back, £250. If you max it out every month, they will shut your account down. It's not for business purposes. So we managed to get like 4 running at one point. And then we just stopped. We can't be bothered anymore. It's a waste of my time, and it slowed my purchasing managers down. So we did that, and then the other one, if you're in the US, we use Top Cashback, and I think it's Rakuten, I think it is. You'll know what I mean. That's the ones we do. So again, cashback is a Brucey bonus. It's not guaranteed. Just be mindful of that. So I hope that makes sense. Nita, I've got 3 years experience as software developer at Apple. Wow. Smart girl. Should I apply for software developer at Amazon directly, or can I go for SE1? I don't know the answer. I don't do anything to do with software development. You sound like you're really intelligent, and I know a little bit about software development. But if you're working for Apple, I'm sure you're software development engineer. I'm sure you're good. I really can't help you. I'd probably go like there's a YouTube channel called Tech Lead. He's got like 1 million followers. Have a look at his channel and ask that question. There'll be a lot of other people who are in the similar place. I cannot help you. Sorry. Honestly, your software development skills are way beyond my comprehension. And good luck, honestly. Best of luck with it all. But have a look at Tech Lead. I've seen some of his YouTube videos. He got fired or something from Google. Don't quote me, but there'll be a lot of people on the chat who might be able to communicate with you and give you some answers if you go into like one of his lives. Yvette says, thank you so much. Glad I could help. Tom has mentioned my biggest issue right now is cash flow. Any solution apart from credit cards? Got one on the way. Loans, overdrafts. Call your bank. Do you do a business overdraft? We got a business overdraft in Santander, 5.5%, £25,000. You got credit cards. Also, just be very strategic about your credit cards. If I give you an idea, call your credit card company up and ask them for an extension. Capital on Tap, we have a £50,000 credit limit. We use that every week. So we fill it up, pay it down, fill it up, pay it down. And right now we're actually trying to fill it up and pay it down more than once a week. Amex, I know it's a charge card, so I'm being a bit cheeky. Amex Gold charge card. You do have to pay them back within a certain time, so just be mindful. What else? I don't really know. Yeah, I think that's it. If you're doing wholesale, look at supplier credit. You also look at you could look at payability if you want to get the cash out sooner. That's an important one. Also, so have a look at my cash flow video. I did a cash flow video. We do sell an Excel spreadsheet. I use it all the time. It costs £30. It's nothing, £30, $8. It's my cash flow video, and it's how we do cash flow in my business, and it's maximizing that movement of money from cash into stock, and to make sure that's efficient at all times. And it tells you how much you can spend, which is the important metric. So I hope that makes sense. Veronica, thanks, Tom. I have my supplier from China, but even when the products are generic, they're gated on Amazon. So I wonder if all you guys started having, because how you guys all start. Well, interesting. We don't do what you're doing. You're talking about private label. So you're making a brand, buying from China, shipping to the UK, USA, for example. What we do is we buy from retail stores, not from China, and we buy branded products already, like Lego, for example. But Lego is obviously gated, so we'd go find another branded product which isn't gated, because not all the categories are gated. Now, if you want to, top tip for you, maybe you're buying I don't know, something, what you can do is you can go find a wholesaler in China, or a wholesaler in not China, country China, like the US, for example, UK, and go buy 10 of those products, and then obviously get the invoice, get it to Amazon and Ungate. Top thing for you though is if your account is sold 0, you're going to probably struggle. And the reason is for the fact that Amazon doesn't like to ungate accounts they've never seen any sales data on. The gating process is about these brands are brands that have historically, or these categories of brands where there have been fakes, problems, etc. And as a result, Amazon is trying to protect its customers from bad sellers. So if you've never proven you've sold before and you want to get ungated in what's known as probably quite challenging categories or brands, you might struggle without having any sales data. So get some sales in first, maybe selling something else, and then come back to your product. You might get ungated with an invoice, or even automatically. In the US, we found we were starting to get automatically ungated around about $7,000 in sales. Once we hit that value, they said, yeah, you can click ungate, and it goes, no need to approval, just do it. So that was the thing. SEO Daddy, great answer. RE net profit, all very true. Hard to explain points with the 200 character agreed. Currently, I work to ROI targets over different periods, factoring compounding as I reinvest 10%. Yeah, fantastic. Hey, really, really well done. And hey, my God, like, my God, you can compare two different businesses. It doesn't, one could be way more profitable than the other one, but it doesn't mean it's the one that you want to be running. Again, it's about what do you want. Hopefully you've seen it from my videos in my life, and what I'm doing is that I really value my freedom. I value I really value that, and that's the thing. So like for me, if it means we're not making as much money because I have a higher cost, but I have more freedom, I'm absolutely fine with that. I really am. I'm not about the money. I make more money than I need to pay myself, and I'm happy with that. So we can reinvest it in the business. Just pushing more and more profit isn't going to make me any happier. It means I'm going to have to work more. So again, choose your own goals. Do that. Definitely look for people who are achieving what you want to achieve, and don't reinvent the wheel, copy them. And hey, great question and great answer. So thank you so much, SEO Daddy. Andy, top man. Harminder says, thanks for the tip on setting hourly spend targets. Cool. A top tip, I wouldn't recommend spending hourly spend targets. I'd recommend doing weekly spend targets, but I would also then break it down into hourly awareness. So if you're spending, let's call me 40,000, we'll call it 4,000. Well, if you're going to do 4,000 every week in spend, I then need to be spending £100 or $100 every hour. So the question you've got to ask yourself is just that helps. It kind of is a guide, but you're going to have some hours where it's really good and some hours where it's not, and it does average out. So just keep an eye, it really helps you out. So last question for the day, because I am a little bit over today. Tom says, I see you do a lot of work with VAs. Any tips for finding these VAs, deciding how much to pay them for lead sourcing? Yeah, top tip for you, use the Fast Track FBA VA Academy service I created, whereby we find, hire, and train VAs to work in your business. They're your VAs, not paid, not ours, by the way. They're your VAs, and we support them in your business for 12 weeks. We recommend $3 an hour, or it's about 25,000 pesos. I don't know how much is that in pounds, £2.50, for example, don't quote me. It works out to about £380 per month, $504 per month. And we recommend that after 3 months, they should be generating a spend of 1,000. They should be generating a spend of 1,333 per week. And the result of that is a 30% ROI. They will generate you a net profit of £1,200 per month. And I can explain all those calculations in another call if you come back next week, but I do generally believe in using the Fast Track FBA VA Academy. And the reason why I say that is for the simple fact you can today go on onlinejobs.ph. That's where we find quite a lot of our VAs, and hire a VA. I promise you that is super simple to do. Anyone can hire someone. That's the easy part. Hiring the right person, that's a super hard thing. And I promise you, like, that's the hardest challenge. And how good are we at finding the right person? Well, I like to think we're pretty good. Why? Because we have hired and trained over 340 VAs for over 170 clients. There's 170 people who have bought more than one VA from us. And that has shown, obviously, the value that we can bring to their business because they're growing. And I have a weekly call with them in about 3 hours' time every Monday to help them grow the business. So, and that costs £597 or $847. If you want to know, you get so much value with that, so much support. You get a single problem with the VA. Give us a call and we will jump on it, support your VA. We just help you out, honestly, help you out and help you grow. And you get obviously access to me, more of this about building a team, and we're here to build your teams. That's it. So onlinejobs.ph if you want to do it yourself. But if you ask me, come to us. It's a no-brainer. And obviously, if you get problems, then we just refund it or we replace. Pretty simple. So takes the pressure off you, helps you out, get the expertise that you need, and helps you grow your business. And then we do it in here, www.fasttrackfba.com/VA. That is nice and simple right there. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully I've answered all your questions and given you some food for thought about your businesses. Keep smashing it. There's so much opportunity out there. Yes, there are naysayers, I promise you that. But my God, we see it every single year for the last 20 years. Amazon is growing. Third-party sellers represent about 50% of all those sales, so it's growing with them. So be part of that. Oh my God, there is so much amazing opportunity and so much money to be made. Keep smashing it, guys. Take care. See you same time next week. Bye-bye.